My name is Joanna Presley. I am one of the staff counselors at LCBCC. I'm also a mom of a 2-year-old, 5-year-old, and 7-year-old, working with counselees at the center. But also the Lord has opened up an opportunity with a Christian school in a rural area of South Carolina. I have been asking the Lord to create a way that I can use my time to meet more counseling needs without cutting into the needs of my family. And the Lord has been answering that prayer in really beautiful ways this year. He has brought me into a Christian school in a rural part of South Carolina where the counseling needs are very high. The median income in this area for a family is about $20,000, and a high percentage of the area do not even have high school degrees. So it's an area with less educational resources and less monetary resources. And I see very, very great counseling needs in this area. But I am struck with how can I possibly meet these needs? And the Lord has created this wonderful resource for me where I'm able to teach biblical counseling techniques to the teachers in the school. So we've done, in the summers, we'll do training times. And then during the school year, I will meet with teachers as they have a difficulty with a student or with a situation. I will train the teachers on how to do biblical counseling in that scenario. And then the teachers are able to take that biblical counseling knowledge and apply it in the classroom with all their children. They're also going home and applying these techniques in their homes with their own families. We're also seeing the students who are learning the biblical counseling techniques taking the training that they're receiving and passing it on to the parents, and the parents are passing them on to other parents. So I have been able to see the Lord bearing fruit way beyond what my time constraints would be able to command. And He is multiplying the fruit in such really, really incredible ways. Some of the most exciting things that I am seeing is when I am able to counsel one parent and then hear that they have had another parent come to them with a problem and they use the biblical counseling techniques I taught them to deal with their problem to encourage the other parents or their neighbors. I hope that it is encouraging to you, especially for young moms, to think about the blessing of getting a biblical counseling training, because all of our life we are having to think on our feet. Different things come up and we have to meet different questions at any moment. To have biblical counseling training that's wide enough to give you the skills to look at each one of those issues and respond in a biblical way that gives hope and encouragement and direction. So I'm so excited to see that the Lord has opened this really exciting way to serve an underserved population that has particularly difficult needs. And the Lord is providing a way to do that, and He's building hope and meeting needs and drawing people to Him in so many new and exciting ways.
I'm Dennis Bodling. I am new to Lowcountry Biblical Counseling Center. I was born and grew up in Maryland. Tennessee was next, where I attended William Jennings Bryan College and met Bonnie, who I married in 1974. During our 17 years in Tennessee, we had 3 children while I worked for Lazy Boy. In 1991, we relocated to Michigan, where I worked for another 27 years with Lazy Boy. The last 2.5 years have been spent in retirement. Back when I was 14 years old, I dedicated my life to serving God through music. While it was my plan to do full-time music ministry after college, God placed me into a secular vocation with Lazy Boy, where I was able to actively serve in our church homes in both Tennessee and Ohio, which was just across the border from our home in Michigan. It did that as a volunteer in their music ministries. Then comes the excitement and occasional fear of my approaching retirement. What will I be doing in light of the fact that church music was changing to a format that no longer fit my musical strengths? God began to open a door in 2014 when Bonnie first attended a Faith Lafayette Ministries biblical counseling course offered at our church. Over the subsequent years, we each completed 4 courses at our church and on site in Indiana. Since then, I have pursued ACBC certification through the point of passing the written exams. I am now ready to begin the final leg, which is supervised counseling. I retired in May of 2018 after almost 44 years with Lazy Boy and began serving our Toledo church as a rookie counselor for over a year. During that time, I gained valuable experience while gaining practical advice from other counselors. So why settle down here in South Carolina? Well, retirement away from the bitter Michigan winters was our desire, dating all the way back to 1991, while still planning our move from Tennessee to Michigan. Well over a year ago, I began actively searching for churches and counseling centers in the Southeast that were committed to the biblical counseling model. After making over 10 successful contacts, the search narrowed down to 2. We made a trip late last June to visit those 2 and felt most comfortable with Lowcountry. So what does life in South Carolina look like for us? Tomorrow will mark 4 weeks since the furniture showed up at our house here. These weeks have been filled with unpacking, all of the usual chores of establishing residence and beginning to get an understanding of my role at Lowcountry. Moving forward, I will be serving God by completing my ACB certification, partnering with Lowcountry as a team counselor, and using my Lazy Boy experience to assist them with some administrative tasks. I will also be honoring my wife of 47 years by sharing with her an appropriate portion of my retirement years. I did more than just a little bit of traveling with Lazy Boy. We are both looking forward to our time here, making new friends, and serving our Lord. Thank you.
We're sitting down with Denise Qualls and Rob Timmerman, and we're learning a little bit about their role and ministry here at LCBCC. And I'm going to start first with Denise Qualls. Now, Denise, you are titled in your role as an intake counselor. Can you briefly tell us what you do, what your responsibilities are?
Sure, thanks, Patty. As the intake counselor here at the Lowcountry Biblical Counseling Center, I have what I think is the distinct privilege of being many times the first contact that people have as they reach out to us for counseling. Most of the time they've already put in a request online, and I receive those and look through them, figure out which counselee is going to pair best with which counselor, and then give them that first call and begin to set up that process by which we get that first appointment in place.
And that's a really key role that you play, especially in today's tech-savvy environment where a lot of businesses are going to more automated scheduling.
Right.
And so you provide a human touch to those who may be calling and they feel hopeless, they are ridden with guilt. And so there's a piece there that it's like a human connection. And in our training in Track 1, we do talk about the importance of involvement, or what you might call building trust with people.
Right.
And I just want to read one of the scriptures that we use for building involvement. And it's found from 1 Thessalonians 2, 7 through 8, to help us better understand what it means to show love. And that verse reads, "But we were gentle among you, like a nursing mother taking care of her own children. So being affectionately desirous of you, we are ready to share with you not only the gospel of God, but also our own selves, because you have become very dear to us." So can you tell us a little bit about how you make that, with that first connection with the counselee, how do you show them that they are loved and cared for?
I think one of the biggest pieces of that is when they call, many times they've come to a place of crisis. Maybe it's something they've struggled with for a very long time, and yet there's been a point in time, which is usually right as they've reached out to us, where they've decided, I can't do this anymore and I need help. And so I have that opportunity to encourage them that there are answers, and those answers are found in Christ himself and through his word. And so we get to, for the first few minutes that we talk, I am able to quiet them down as they ask questions about the counseling process, as they look for as so sorry.
It's okay. Yeah.
Tim's going to cut that out, right?
Yeah. Okay.
So as we talk over the phone and begin to calm their hearts, I know many times they ask me questions about, what's that first session like? They're scared. They don't know what to expect, and it's a humbling process. And so I am able to encourage them with, one, I've been both a counselee coming with desperately in need of help, but also from the counselor side. And so I can talk about what that first appointment looked like. And many times as we finish up that conversation, they allow me the privilege to pray for them. And I know as we've hung up many times, they have said, thank you so much for just taking the time to talk. And there's no limits on that first appointment. We're never in a hurry. And so if I spend 20 minutes or if I spend 30 minutes, that's okay. And it's not always like that, of course, but and I do think that they end up knowing that we're different because of those first appointments or first phone calls that we have with them.
Right. Yeah. And for one, as a women's counselor, I know that I'm really grateful for the ministry that you have on the front end. As you might say, you're the face of LCBCC, but it really does prepare the counselees before they actually come in and walk in the room with me. And for that, I'm very thankful. Now, Rob, you have a similar ministry here at LCBCC as Denise Qualls, and that as the Director of Communications, you provide a large amount of administrative support to all the counselors, counselees, and anyone who contacts the center. Can you tell us a little bit about what some of those responsibilities are?
Yeah. Most of my basic responsibilities have to do with just answering the phones when people call, managing scheduling, and case managing for our counselees. Some of my other responsibilities include communicating with our partners, our individual partners, our church partners, and our business partners as well, just to make sure that we're communicating what we're doing here, we're meeting their needs as far as helping the people in their circles to receive counseling or receive help from us, and continue to support what they're supporting through Lowcountry.
Great. That is a huge there's a huge amount of administrative support that you provide for us, and we're so thankful. Now, within that support, administrative support, can you tell us a little bit about your ministry as you do that?
Sure. I love helping people. I get to wear various different hats here at Lowcountry Biblical Counseling Center. Pretty much any opportunity I have that I can help someone. A lot of the ways that I end up helping people are through just tech support, helping them try to figure out how to access their counseling portal or find something on our website. But a lot of the other parts that I get to serve here at Lowcountry are just building relationships with people, getting to know who they are when they come in for counseling, or I talk to them on the phone. God uses me there with people that are in crisis or looking for help, and that's definitely something that I have always loved to do, is help people, listening to them and then connecting the dots to make sure that we're actually following up and we've helped them, someone has reached out to them, and that we've been able to give them what they need.
That's great. And I can testify to how helpful you really are. Thank you for spending some time with us and sharing a little bit about what you do. And thank you for your ministry here.